everybody. This is Jenny Clark with Solvability. We've got another Freedom Friday. Today, my special guest is Granita Griffin that I met several years ago. I was probably traveling, I think it was in Orlando, and I get a phone call. This is Granita Griffin. And I said, oh, great. Tell me more. And she said, we're in the 8A program. I know we're going to grow. I want to understand what I need to do to be prepared. So I'm driving around Orlando, and I finally pulled over and parked, and I said, Granita, tell me more. And so I'm so excited to have her on here because in the time since that's happened, we've been working together on a project so we can get her company scalable. And she's got such great things that she's done. Has just started her first prime contract, has a meta protege relationship. You're just knocking it out of the park, Granita. So let me just real briefly tell you a little bit about Granita and OTS. They were in Montgomery, Alabama, and they've moved to San Antonio. So Granita, tell us a little bit about why you started OTS.
Well, funny story. So around 2016, me and Travis, we felt like we had hit the top of our pay scale. So our first idea was to start a franchise. And so we went to the Wetumpka, that's where we started our company, is in Wetumpka, Alabama. So we went to the Wetumpka Chamber of Commerce, and we were like, oh, let's tell you about our idea of starting a franchise, because we realized with starting a business, you have to fulfill a need. And so we felt like the need in our area, we were in a subdivision where they didn't deliver pizza. No pizza franchise ever delivered to our area. So we were like, let's start that. And no pizza experience. But, and so after meeting with the chamber, they said, hey, we're starting a technology innovation center. And we were like, oh, really? Okay. And so they talked to us and got to know me and Travis and what we do. And they were like, so you're both in IT? And we were like, yeah. And so they were like, well, why don't you, help us start this innovation center up, since you're in IT. And we were like, okay, cool. So we realized, we had been contractors for almost 8 years and realized that there was a need, so we were like, let's do it. Let's start OTS. So.
Well, and so you turn pizza into optimized technical solutions.
Right.
And I think that's great. And, it's like everybody feels that need at certain points to try something new and become this entrepreneurial thing. But boy, you've really gone way beyond what you could have done with a pizza franchise. You could buy one straight out now, right? Let somebody else run it. So you just won your first prime contract. And I think we just talked about this last week, because I remember when you were working on the proposal, we had some conversations about the pricing, went back and forth on the spreadsheet, and you came up with the right combination. So what are the challenges you're going through with your first prime contract, first off? And the second question is, you must have celebrated with more than just pizza the day you heard it. Tell us a little bit about that, Granita.
Okay, so one of the contracts that we're on right now, we're subbing for a prime. They're called, the name of the prime is DTSI. So DTSI, there was a contract that they were going after. They had a lot of intel on it. And so come to find out, it ended up going small business. So we have a very good rapport with them. We've been on the contract with them since 2018. And so they were like, hey, why don't you guys help us with this and prime it? And we were like, okay, cool. So, and it was a logistics contract. And even though our company doesn't have much past performance, I worked in CMOS for about 7 years. Cargo movement operations.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's in logistics as well. So we were like, okay, let's do this. And so we wrote the proposal and we got that phone call and it was like, what? We won. And so, it was funny because we were excited for probably a day. And then the next day it was like, okay, so now we got to do this and that and this. And we were like, oh my goodness. And they were talking about the wide area workflow, which is how you invoice the government, and then So Travis just got back yesterday from Illinois. And when he went up there, they were just like, we were so excited about all the innovation. And so it's exciting, but it's scary because now we're working directly with the government. And we've always just been subcontractors, so it's exciting and scary all at the same time because now we have CPARs, it's like we're going to be grading you.
Yeah, exactly. And what an opportunity to be able to put, this is our first one, and then you'll be able to use that as a past performance for the next one. I guess the things that we've been working through, because I knew you would get at this point, is we started working together on getting your accounting system set up. And or making it, modifying it so it would be for DCAA compliance. And we came up, I showed you my rate and pricing model to really understand how the math of government contracting. And what's been funny is when you got that contract, we were able to go back in there, rearrange things a little bit, and you're like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Because as long as you're winning new work, don't worry about rates. Your rates will improve, and that's really what the pricing will improve, and that's what's really important. The other thing that was probably a big deal is, the Wetumpka Chamber of Commerce probably like, no, the Griffins can't move. There are people. What made you decide to move to Texas of all places?
Okay, so like I was saying, DTSI, that's the prime that we are subbing for right now. So they won the HRSTS contract, which is a human resource contract. And on that contract, they needed Oracle EBS, and that skill is very hard to find in the industry. And so we had it. And so Travis, is heavily skilled in that. And so they were like, well, we'll bring you on as subs. And so they brought us on as subcontractors. And I forgot where we were at. Where am I going with the story? I forgot what you asked.
Well, I'll tell the rest of the story for you. You were brought on by DTSI as subs, and I remember having the conversation. And then you had a couple other people that are part of your team as 1099s. It was a great way to grow. You get paid, you're seeing some growth, and it's really created all kinds of opportunities for you to move to San Antonio. But the feeling was that you wanted to start in an area to keep developing that relationship so that you've got a unique spot.
Oh yeah, why did I move? Okay, yes, I was thrown off like, where am I going with this story? Okay, so once they hired Travis on, then it took off, and so Travis stayed on. He got on in like 2018, and in 2019, I think we hired maybe about 4 more people on the contract. So and then we realized also that San Antonio has the joint base, San Antonio. So it's like 3 bases. And I'm like, that's a lot of opportunity here. You have Lackland, Fort Sam, Randolph. So we were like, we may want to move here and move.
And no state income tax. That's the other reason to go to Texas.
Thank you. Yes, that is a good reason. But I will say we still have a presence in Montgomery. I don't want to just, we have a virtual office there now. So we're not. Now we moved out of Wetumpka a while back, and we moved our headquarters actually to Montgomery because Wetumpka is, it's kind of small, and we won actually a contract in Montgomery. So, and we still have a contract. We just recently won one for Air University in Montgomery. So we still have a pretty good presence there, and we know a lot of people. So that will still always be home.
Yeah, and you also won a contract with the state of Texas too, right?
We did. That was a state contract, and so we're providing IT staffing.
Right. Well, and it's like you moved in one direction, an opportunity opened up. You moved in another direction, another door opens, and you're just like, okay, apparently that's what I'm supposed to be walking through. What I love about you is you and Travis never shrunk back from doing this. And you'd say, well, this is what we have to take care of, Jenny. How can you help us? And that's what's been so fun. The other thing about it is with you guys both having an IT background, you can see the agencies that do need your kind of support. And whenever I talk to people about IT, I'm not a technical person. But I think you do a lot of, do you call it enterprise solutions, or how do you describe the subset you're really working in right now?
Yeah, that's what I'll call it. Yeah, enterprise solutions. And that's what kind of that's really, we consider ourselves as a solutions provider. You know, we do a lot of IT work, but it's not just IT. You know, like I said, we also do logistics and all of that. So, and we started the when we were contractors, most of our work was Air Force.
Okay.
So that's why
So,
we stuck. Yeah.
yeah. So you were at GovCon Summit last year in Tampa, and you also came because you've been working with Josh Frank at RSM Federal for a while. And, I met Josh at a conference and I said, he tells a different story. And he's got the books and different things like that. But what he basically says is you don't have one capability statement, you have several, and you tailor them and talk about the problem you solved. Has that advice helped you, Granita?
Yes, our RSM Federal really helped us build like a foundation, you know, for our business. They helped us with our pipelines and just everything that we needed, you know, to get our company going. You know, it was a lot of things that we just didn't know.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I think that's so typical of people that are getting started in federal contracting. The SBA and all these people have signed them up all rah rah, like we want you to be on government contracts. And what they don't explain, because as government employees, they may not know how hard it is to do all the getting ready to do business with the federal government. And it gets a little bit harder all the time. What were the biggest challenges you felt like you had to overcome, Granita?
past performance.
Past
That
performance?
that was a big deal because what they don't tell you is that the government, they don't want to take big risks. So if your company doesn't have past performance, it's kind of hard, you know. And with us having an IT background, we had to use our personal past performance sometimes, and that's kind of what led us to do a mentor protege, because that way our mentor, we could use their past performance, because that, like I said, that's tough, and that's something that should be spoken about more. Is that past?
Well, I'm going to give you an opportunity to speak about it right now. If I understand it correctly, you're an all small mentor protege with a
Mhm.
company that's been successful in federal contracting for quite a while. It's All Points Logistics, which is headquartered on the Space Coast of Florida, but has huge operations in Huntsville, Alabama.
They do.
And what I was so impressed about as you were getting ready to do that is that they were really a mentor, because so often the mentor protege doesn't really bother to help you. And they have done a fabulous job bringing you along. Tell us a little bit about how they found you, why they wanted you to be on their team, and how it's benefited both sides in this all small mentor protege program.
So remember, I was telling you that I used to work. I did contract work on an application called CMOS, Cargo Movement.
Right.
Okay, so we partnered with someone, and we were going down a list of people that we thought would be good primes to help us with that. So we came across All Points. So we partnered with them, and we went through proposal process, and turned in a proposal and everything for CMOS. Well, even though we lost that contract, they were very impressed with us and very impressed with our writing and our skills, and just how we attacked it. And so we have been working with them ever since. And so we brought up did they bring it up to us, or we brought it up to them? So we brought it up to them, or vice versa. I can't remember. But anyway, we decided to do a mentor protege together, and Stars 3 was coming out. And so they were like, hey, let's do that together. So
So tell people what Stars 3 is.
Stars 3 is a GWAC, is for 8A.
So it's a government wide acquisition
Acquisition.
contract, I think. Is that what they call it?
Right.
And so all of this terminology you had to learn really fast. And that's part of the reason that we've created GovCon Summit, is like, I want you to be able to come and to GovCon Summit and find the decoder ring, so that, because I always know somebody in the room is going to have the answer, but sometimes it might take 3 or 4 people in the group brain to figure it out. And if we can't help people get over the hurdles faster, then you're not ready to win these contracts, onboard these new employees, and grow as a company. And the reason I feel like it's so important to do that is, to me, anybody that's been working in Department of Defense or whatever, if somebody that is really talented in that can have those opportunities, you start developing an employee family, you spread out your culture, you have financial security from what you're doing, and you love it, right?
Right. Yep.
So, talk to me about scaling your company, because that's a big piece of it. I know that when we talked before, I said, well, call me back when you get contracts, because you want to get contracts first and then worry about the accounting system, because people are telling you all kinds of bad advice, like, well, go get on a GSK schedule and go do this and go do this. And they don't really understand who you are, where you are, what your goals are. So, talk to me about how you figured out what is the next step each time that you're moving along that way.
Well, so back before we moved here and we were in Montgomery, we were trying to get into the Huntsville market because we knew they were blowing up and everything. So we got in touch with their PTAC office, and we were like, we just need some help because we were hearing all these words thrown around about wrap rate and rate pricing model and uh, DCAA compliant. And we're like, excuse me, so like, I think you need to get in touch with Jenny Clark. And I said, oh, okay, so that's when I called Jenny, and she has been absolutely wonderful. I mean, just changed everything around for us as far as our accounting system and, doing the wrap rate and how to charge, clients and everything. So that has been great. And I really believe our accounting system is now ready, for being DCAA compliant. And then also, like I said before, as far as like building a pipeline and all this, we had no idea about those things. And that's how we were introduced to RSM Federal, to Josh and Mike Lejeune. So
Well, it makes such a difference, because a lot of, if somebody worked for a federal contractor and leaves to start their own business, they know the lingo and they know the tools and everything else. But when you're just coming out and saying, I'm in the IT business and I want to start a federal contractor, getting access to the terminology and figuring it out is good. And what happens is, procurement technical assistance centers are awesome. And you probably talked to Mary Jane Fleming or Hillary Claiborne.
That's her, Mary. I know as soon as you said the name, Mary. Yep, that was her.
She is fabulous. And they're affiliated with the University of Alabama, Huntsville. There's also a group up there that's part of our Govcon Summit, and they're participate as well. But there's a group called the Catalyst that long time ago, when I was living in Huntsville, it was started as a women's business center of North Alabama. And Lee Christian with that has been doing weekly Zooms and all kinds of things for the people that are in there, because we want to make it so that when you run out of the free resources or you outgrow what the PTAC has, where do you go next? And that's why we focused everything we're doing for GovCon Summit about creating a community, a virtual accelerator program for entrepreneurs that want to succeed in federal contracting to get the resources they need. Because I think the other part about it is, to me, I would so much rather, when you have a question, I want to tell you the answer, but I want to say, you need to talk to these three people, because sometimes my opinion's a little biased. And I know we've made really good progress with that, but what I'm really excited about for GovCon Summit is being able to have you tell this kind of success story for other people to be inspired by what you've been through. So as far as scalability, what kind of systems have we put in so far? Because I know there's still a checklist we're going down when the time is right. But I think the one that you liked the best was onboarding your employees.
GovCon Pay. Introducing me to GovCon Pay, and it was Joe Young. Thank you. It has it has been a lifesaver, and I really can't wait to use the onboarding piece of it. We just set it up, and I created myself an account. I initiated myself, like I was onboarding myself, and I am so excited for my employees to see this, and it's a relief for me because it takes a lot of work off me. So these new people that we're employing, they're going to be, going through that for the first time, and so I'm very excited about that. And it's GovCon pay, so it really sets you up for what the government is wanting. And it's been very helpful.
Well, they definitely understand the market, and
Yeah.
I've used it at other places. And the other reason I was so interested in it is because of the way that it integrates with other products, so that as Optimized Technical Solutions continues to grow, our next step is to come off QuickBooks and look at a couple options for the next level. Because I don't know about you, Granita, but I know where you're going. I see you guys doubling every year for the next several years, and I see you being on the Inc. 5000 because when I see people succeed like you do, I know what kind of heart you have for your employee family. I know what a difference you're going to make in the San Antonio community, and I'm just really excited that we're working together. And thank you so much for being a part of Freedom Friday today.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you want to reach you, Granita, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Well, we're on LinkedIn, and our web address is www.optechs-inc.com. So it's optex-inc.com.
That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
And of course, you're going to be at GovCon Summit, and I'm getting people signed up. If people want to learn about GovCon Summit, it's solvability.com/GovCon Summit. It's going to be virtual, April 20th to 28th. Everybody thinks I'm crazy, but my thought is, what if we can connect all these networks of entrepreneurs that are really outside the beltway that might not otherwise find the resources? And it's really more like a coaching event than anything else. But we've got matchmaking. I've got Special Operations Command coming. I've got NOC TSC out of Orlando, which is for training and simulation. And we're going to find somebody from San Antonio to be a part of it too. But I've got prime contractors, a lot of content. And the content is all built around the book. I don't know where my copy went, that we just published, called Becoming a GovCon Expert, How to Accelerate Your Success in Government Contracting. Oh, look, Ray Walton's got it. Thank you so much, Ray. People call me up and say, well, Jenny, you need to write a book about that. I'm like, we did write a book. And we're always trying to find, how do we get the word out? How do I get the word out about Optimized Technical Solutions and people that might want to do business with you? How do we get the word out about this awesome community of people that really all want to collaborate and help each other? So I call that the community values Mitch: mentorship, inclusion, teamwork, camaraderie, and heart. And that's why I'm so excited to have everybody on today. So thanks so much, Granita. And I cannot wait to see what you do next.
Oh, I'm excited. Thank you so much, Jenny. I appreciate this opportunity.